Okay, I'm pissed because I got an energy drink just for this occasion, and then I opened it and I forgot to hit record, so bottoms up. Anyways, hey everyone, today we're going to be cracking open the history of Cuphead. No! This game really is the Dark Souls of platformers. Just look at the very distinguished gentleman who plays and reviews video games for IGN. Amazing. Just look at his fine motor skills going to work, trying to evade and dodge all the boxes. Truly one of the best platformers of our time. Now let's see Paul Allen's gameplay. Look at that subtle directional input, that tasteful button timing. Oh my god, he even did the descent. So as long as you're older than 5 and not a game journalist, you should have a blast while playing this game. Having a blast might be an overstatement, it's more like you're gonna get your ass blasted by a devil dick. Now if you're fine with getting ass blasted, then you're gonna want to collect all the soul contracts from bosses scattered around the island before going back to Daddy Devil and forking them over in exchange for your freedom because you lost all your money gambling. But just remember folks, every gambler that quits is just one roll of the dice away from a more bazillion dollars. So without further ado, let's get into one of the hardest 1930s inspired run and gun boss shooters of the decade. Now this game is hard but definitely fair. Almost every boss, except for a few that were complete bullshit, but I'll get into that later. You have an arsenal of 2 different weapons that you can switch between on the fly. A super ability, parrying, and a charm. The 2 weapons are how you'll mainly deal damage to bosses and boss minions, while the charms change how you interact with the world. By dealing damage or parrying, you build up this little card meter in the bottom of the screen. You can parry things that are pink, and when you hit the parry on time, you'll go a little higher in the air. You can use this in some levels to do like a little boost jump, and then you get ahead. I'll show a clip here. Once you get a single card filled up, you can use an upgraded attack of whatever weapon you have selected at the time, and then if you fill all 5 cards, you unleash your super attack. There are 2.5 kind of fights in this game though. Your standard ground boss fight, air boss fights, and then running gun levels. Running gun levels are how you get coins to buy things at our favorite unripe bacon vendor, Pork Rind. You can also get gold coins from around the map by doing favors for people and finding those secrets. Now a quick rundown of all the powers and charms in the game and also how you get them. Pea Shooter is run-of-the-mill, long-range, average damage starting weapon, right? Now the rest of these you can buy from Pork Rinds and Porium for 4 gold coins each. The Chaser Shot, that is no aim, no brain, and does piss poor damage. The Spread Shot is a shotgun, so if you're standing more than 2 feet away, it's gonna do piss poor damage. The Roundabout is a boomerang that you aim backwards to get the most out of it, so it's good for the dragon fight, and that's about it. The Lobber is a decent damage but slow rate of fire medium range gun where it just lobs grenades like that one fucker that uses the noob tube in Call of Duty. And then finally the Charge Shot, which is what I love the most. You have to hold the button down to increase the damage, so you can't just spray and pray, you gotta hit your shots effectively. Now the charms are a little different because they affect gameplay. These you can all buy from Pork Rind for 3 gold each. The Heart gives you an extra hit point but weakens attack power. The Smoke Bomb, which is my favorite again, lets you ninja your way out of situations when you use your dash. Coffee continuously fills your super meter plus whatever damage you do. The Whetstone makes your first parry move do an axe attack as well, and then the Pea Sugar makes your first parry move automatic, so just when you jump it'll automatically parry. Finally you got the Twin Hearts, which is 5 gold, but it adds 2 additional hit points but weakens your attack power. Now the special abilities you can get by completing the Mausoleums. Mausoleums you gotta parry ghosts and make sure they don't hit the vase in the center of the room, so you can free that ghosty MILF vase looking lady. Sexy. Now in order of the 3 Mausoleums you get the Energy Beam, which is the best. It just does massive damage to the boss. Invincibility, which, go figures, makes you invincible for a short period of time, and the Giant Ghost, which just summons a JoJo stand that fights with you. Now I'm not saying that using the Charge Shot, Spread Shot, Smoke Bomb, and Energy Beam is the best loadout, but I'm saying that you're wrong if you don't use it, cause fuck you and that's why. With only 19 bosses and 6 running gun levels, you think you'd be a breeze through the game. Well, you're completely and utterly dead wrong. Technically there's more than 19 bosses, cause when you fight King Dice, he has a roulette table with 9 mini bosses that you have to fight. However, there are definitely some bosses that are easier than others. The 19 bosses are split into 3 separate worlds plus the final casino world. You have to beat all the bosses in one world before you can move on to the next. Beating bosses also unlocks path to help traverse around the world that you're currently in, along with finding out the other bosses. Every boss starts out in their first phase, and then after taking enough damage, move on to their next phases, which is marked by the little infographic whenever you die. And you will die a lot, so you will see this a lot. The bosses do have little tricks up their sleeves though. During these phases, they can have different attacks than previous runs. For example, when fighting Captain Briny Beard, he can summon a squid that shoots ink, a shark that comes from the left side of the screen, or 4 dogfish that try and bite you. There's also Baroness Von Bonbon, who has 3 phases where she'll send out her candy guards to attack you. You can shoot anything from a Pac-Man looking jawbreaker to waffles, or even a stupid ass muffin which shoots its baby batter at you. Technically there is an easy mode, but you just can't progress the story by playing with it. With each boss, the devil being the exception, you can choose simple, regular mode, and once you beat the game, Expert mode. Simple mode has less phases and just makes the game easier and faster, but you won't get a soul contract so you can't move on. Regular mode is how the game was meant to be played, and you get a soul contract from beating the bosses, which allows you to progress the game. Expert mode is if you're a masochist and you hate yourself. So obviously I tried it and I got fucked to high heaven. Dr. Cal's robot. I fucking hate this motherfucker. He is the bane of my existence. The one boss that I think the devs were laughing about while putting him in the game, at least 50 of my in-game deaths as well as brain cell deaths were because of this stupid boss. You have to destroy 3 parts of him before he switches to his second phase, but once you destroy one part, he starts doing some other bullshit, and because you're in a plane, it's even worse because there's so much crap on the screen at one time. But once you're done with the first 3 hearts, a head pops out, but you need to shoot it, but oh look, fuck you, he pulls out his hands or a stupid ass magnet that pulls you around the screen, but if you do all this, then his head ejects before flying around the screen and dropping these annoying ass electric bombs that follow you around, and if you don't kill them, then they'll explode on you, and if you do kill them, they explode anyways, cause fuck you, that's why. Then, in phase 3, he pulls a chaos emerald out of his ass that spits energy in all directions, and there's so much shit on the screen that you don't know what the fuck is going on, and oh, whoops, where did these electric walls come from? Fuck you, yes, no, eat my ass and choke on a cock, I think you should rip your goddamn Eggman looking head off, motherfucker! Aside from the one boss, I had an absolute blast playing the game. As much as I hate comparing it to Dark Souls, it really captures the feel that the game embodies. You can't give up, you just need to keep playing, going on. Maybe with a little bit of luck, you'll beat the boss, then repeat the cycle again. Cuphead has that just one more game mentality to it, and it's something that always draws you back in. Even 5 years later, there's still going to be that one boss that you didn't get an S rank on, or a secret achievement you didn't complete. All of this wrapped up in amazing hand-drawn 1930s animation style, a beautiful soundtrack, and a tough but fair difficulty that makes me give Cuphead a solid 19 tree nuts out of 4 sesame seeds. Now like and subscribe, you cunts.